Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I am Patrick.
And I am Paul. How's it going?
Not too bad, my friend. And we're doing another slightly negative one tonight after last week's assassination of Christmas movies. Anybody who hasn't seen it, whether you're a ho 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 or a bah humbug, there's a lot for the entire family as we point out the darkness at the center of all the Christmas movies. Well, tonight we're doing something much more positive, and essentially, Paul, it's why did some great people do some really terrible movies? And we're not
Yeah.
necessarily going to go into the reasons because I think we all know it usually comes down to money. Money, yeah. You gotta get those papers. It's a shame that so many directors and actors and etc. are forced into doing this to get money to have other projects. But I think it's fun and funny and worth having a look at just how far some of the mighty have fallen in the name of
Yeah.
a few dollars.
Yeah. Like it's interesting to kind of go what I guess if you had a budget yourself for a movie that you knew wasn't going to be great, would you just go, we'll just get Samuel Jackson in, or we'll just get, Robert Downey Jr. We'll try and get Robert Downey Jr. in. Was paying pretty much the entire budget because we already know this movie is going to be terrible,
That's it. Yeah,
but
we're
we'll
we're
have his
putting a
name
name on the
beside it.
marquee.
Like, you know.
Well,
So
I'm just going to do a live check. Paul, have we showed up on the live for you? I'm
we have. I'm right there.
then. Oh, look, if
So
if
you're there as well.
if you're there, then I must be there. Is what I was about to say. So everybody, anybody joining in the live stream, hello, how are you? Please jump in with any of your own nominations or tell us that we're being too mean to your favorite actor or director. Anybody watching in the future, like, subscribe, share, but most importantly, get in those comments down below. Let us know what we missed and who has the biggest turkey in their closet.
Yeah, like wait until the end in case you say some of ours that we're saying right now. But yeah, like if there's anyone that you're just like, I can't, how did they forget this person doing this thing? It's like the most worst, like eye cancerous kind of film. How do they miss that one? Yeah, put it down
Yeah,
below or tweet us. I
and
believe our socials are somewhere down below
and
me
you know
or
what? Hopefully, we're going to help out a few people for their cheap ass workings. Because some of these movies that we're going to mention tonight, everybody's seen and it's like, yeah, well, that wasn't their best work. Some of them you're going to be like, wow, I didn't know that they'd stoop that low. And there's one Oscar winner in particular that's going to jump that barn and clear it by quite a length.
yeah.
So Paul, how about we kick off with the guy that gave us the idea for this, good old Joss Whedon.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh Whedon of all people, like um
Well, what's he done that's good? I'm going to give him the benefit of the
oh,
doubt. So I've thrown up a few little images of he is the master of the ensemble cast, not just in
mhm.
TV but in movies. So you got Buffy and Angel, you got Firefly. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you've watched it, you're probably watching it 10 times a year because it's great. And then possibly one of the best Marvel movies, without any doubt, the Avengers movie, Avengers 1, or Avengers Assemble, as I have now started calling it since there are so many Avengers.
Yeah, a little franchise called the Avengers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a
I
little,
don't,
little bit of work
but
there.
if you haven't seen that, but you should definitely check out the Firefly and Buffy one. Just give them some love
Yeah, it's
and
true.
stuff, but not that small tiny franchise Marvel.
Yeah, well, without us mentioning it, I'm not sure if anybody would ever get to see it again. Like, if we
Yeah,
weren't hyping it regularly, they'd fall off the map. Mickey Mouse would have to move into a smaller, gigantic palace. Um,
like I don't understand why we haven't gotten a check yet for the amount of advertisement we've given them, but
it's true.
say la vie.
Come on, Mickey. Like, throw us a few of your mouse dollars, will you?
But yeah,
So
talking about
Joss
Josh
Whedon's
Whedon.
he's a legend. Unfortunately, this year, for anybody who's shouting at it, well, did you not hear that there's controversy over whether or not he's a nice person? I didn't really keep up with that, being completely honest. So if it turns out that he's an absolute ratbag of a person, I'm sorry. This is more based on his work than who he is.
Yeah, yeah.
But his
We're
work,
gonna stay
pretty awesome.
yeah, we're going to stay away from the politics and kind of like, personality, like the personal kind of stuff, and we're going to stick to the body of work kind of thing,
Yeah,
and then we're going to like essentially surmise maybe why the reason why they did it and why they didn't kind of thing. So,
yeah.
as in the movie work, TV work, not the other thing.
Not the other, yeah, whatever the other thing might be for any of these people. God, it's a weird world when you have to say that. So Paul, give me your feelings on Joss Whedon's good work. Like, do you rate the man?
Well, yeah, like the body of work that he's done is really really good. Like Firefly is like I think Firefly wouldn't be as beloved possibly as it is now because it ended on the highest note that it possibly could have. Like I'm not saying that Firefly is overrated or anything like that. I think that
You better not be.
it's like it's the brightest candles burn short, like the shortest amount of time kind of thing. So like it's Firefly is amazing because but Buffy the Vampire Slayer is also an incredible set for season 4, season 5. I can't remember the military one.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
that middle one was
screw you, Riley Finn.
just.
That's all we're saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
Riley's fine. It's just when they bring in the military, the whole military thing, it's just real bad. Spoilers. But yeah, so his body work is really good, and the ensemble kind of stuff that he's done is always quite good. He's very good at kind of like working together with a lot of big names and stuff like that, and giving them enough time to on screen that you don't feel like they've been like sidelined or anything like that.
yeah.
So
Well,
he's pretty good.
I think the assassination should begin now because we've got a lot of these to get through, folks. And Paul, what movie made us think of this?
Yeah, so I was watching this movie, and right at the start, his name came up, and it was Alien 4.
Yep,
Yeah, so it was
Alien
written
Resurrection.
by, yeah, Alien Resurrection, Alien 4. Josh Whedon wrote it.
Yeah, and weirdly, when I was looking for a quick screenshot to use to show this, and I ended up picking one that's the ensemble cast look. Like you had the Ron Perlman character, you had Sigourney Weaver. Ah, this is by far the worst Alien film that Sigourney Weaver's in by some stretch, and quite a lot of that's to do with weird baby monster in the end, which is just ridiculously bad. I cannot say that we should spend the rest of this video tearing this film apart because we wouldn't have enough time and we have other things to do. Suffice it to say, anybody who's defending Alien Resurrection or Alien 4 beyond the point of saying it's not bad, because maybe you could feel that it's not bad, but if you're saying it's really good in the pantheon of Alien films, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to the rest of us.
Yeah, like it's a fun film, but it's not going to win any Oscars or any awards.
No.
But we should move on.
And I'm giving it the little stinker of poop right there on the alien's face. I have decided to add a little bit of unnecessary mean flair to this. So next
Well,
up,
here's a quick question. Why do you think he did it? Was it because it was his first movie, or was it because it was just a franchise that was really really good, or
I think
was it
he
quick?
thought, I want to be part of the Alien franchise. I'm a really good writer. I could write a really good Alien movie. I don't think
I
it
think
necessarily was money in his case.
yeah, I say something similar.
Well, Terry Gilliam's on screen now. He doesn't have a solo picture because he was famously part of Monty Python, one of the two Terrys. He is the Terry and the back right for me, so the one behind Michael Palin. The one without the pipe in the back row. There you go.
Yeah.
That's Terry Gilliam. I really should have done a circle on this image so I didn't have to just do that. But, a lot of people say, oh, well, what did he actually do? He did a lot of great movies, which is a bit weird. I'm just trying to pull them up.
He's done something like stuff like as you can see in that picture itself, he was part of the Monty Python ensemble. Like he helped do the 12 Monkeys
12 Monkeys.
film with Bruce Willis. He also did
Fear and Loathing in Las
Fear and
Vegas
Loathing in
with Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
Fisher King with Robin Williams. Robin Williams, one of our favorites. Anytime somebody's done a movie with him, excellent movie, by the way. Him and Jeff Bridges. But he's done there's Brazil. He's done amazing stuff. He even co-directed with the other Terry Jones, Monty Python's Holy Grail and The Life of Brian. So the guy has pedigree. He also has The Brothers Grimm.
Here's the stinker.
The Brothers Grimm, I'm going straight to the poop emoji, simply because you can get Matt Damon and Heath Ledger to do something. Heath Ledger. Matt Damon, I still rate the guy, I know a lot of people don't. Monica Bellucci's in this film, for crying out loud. Good cast. It's supposed to be based on the Grimm fairy tales. It's bad, man. It's very bad.
Yeah, it's along those lines of kind of yeah. It's a combination of kind of like I guess con artist and real life event, like real life kind of like, I get not real life experience, but kind of like interacting with the supernatural and stuff. But yeah, you're right. The accents and stuff like that of the actors and stuff.
Well, for anybody who hasn't seen it, if you sit all the way through it, it's probably only because visually sometimes it's quite nice. The rest of the time, it's a little confused mess of a film without any real, and strangely, any real direction. So that's why I'm nailing it as Terry Gilliam's worst film. And he's got a few other little dodgy ones, but when you consider, Brazil or Fear and Loathing or 12 Monkeys, it's hard to believe it was the same guy.
Yeah, like that's the problem. It's kind of one of those things that you kind of look at the movie and just go, oh, I guess that's a director who hasn't really probably do, like spread their wings on much and stuff like that. So they were kind of given a texture, and although it may be visually nice and stuff like that, and had two big name actors and stuff like that, but because they were probably contractually obliged to like do something with this studio, but then you look at it and you're just like, oh, it's one of the Monty Python guys who has a pretty good like long list of nice songs.
Yeah, it's a turkey. We're between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that is your turkey right there, folks.
Uh, Brew,
Oh,
which
hey,
is
Brew.
is in the chat. He says it's grim, and it's just like yeah,
Little pun
it
there.
sums it up pretty damn well. It's a pretty damn movie.
And we'll continue doing directors before we get to actors.
Hmm.
So kicking on to good old Ang Lee. I like Ang Lee. I like Ang Lee a lot. I can show on screen really quickly why. Life of Pi, Crouching Tiger, Brokeback Mountain. He even did A Sense and Sensibility. He did what I think maybe one of the best Jane Austen adaptations there is. So like that's a hell of a list of good stuff. Paul, what one would you pick for his bad stuff? The thumbnail gave it
Um,
away.
yeah, it's Ang Lee's The Hulk, which is the first adaptation. Um, it's the first adaptation that they were trying to kick off a Marvel universe. Um,
It's green. It's very
it's
green.
real, it's real bad.
It's like somebody. Well, two things happened, and this is part of the problem. It's so very very green. It's like that was all they thought of when they thought of the Hulk. And then Eric Bana, the actor who played the David Banner, or Bruce Banner, I can't remember
Bruce
which
Banner.
banner he chose. Um, he just didn't seem like he was being told what to do. Either he's a terrible actor, which I don't think is necessarily the case, or he was given really bad direction as to how to emote that particular character. It is poop.
I
Um,
think they kind of, I think they kind of made it, or Ang Lee made a kind of decision of that the only person who could like bury that much anger that when they're irradiated with gamma radiation and turn into a giant rage monster, it would have to be a person who's like emotionally stunted. So they essentially just went, "Can you play a robot? Good, yeah. Just don't have proper emotions or anything like that."
well,
You know?
Ang Lee, love you. Like, I take it you're an Ang Lee fan too. We've never actually really talked about Ang
No,
on the podcast before. Like,
not
I'm
really.
big fan of Crouching Tiger. I loved it when it hit the cinema first. Um, are
I'm
you
not the biggest fan.
not the biggest fan? Okay, I suggest you give Ang a chance anytime you do. Just maybe not with
Oh,
that one particular film.
yeah, like I've watched plenty of his films and stuff like that. He's
Okay.
not one of the ones that I'm like, gonna be careful about this one, except for the Hulk.
Yeah.
But the rest of his stuff, yeah, it's just not a massive fan.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, then
Like,
this is a
something
person I
new.
know you are into, in the spirit of Halloween, John Carpenter. Oh, Johnny has more films than you can shake a stick at. So obviously there's going to be varying degrees of good and bad. Um,
Hmm.
I'll throw up a few of the Carpenter greats. Paul, we've got
Is
Halloween, The Thing, Big Trouble in Little
yeah,
China. You can keep naming. There's so many to choose from.
is the fog up there?
The Fog is not up there. There wasn't enough room, but The Fog was my
Oh,
next image. See, you know me so well.
yeah.
Big fan of The Fog. Yeah, like the man did Halloween. It's the
Yeah.
seminal Halloween film.
Yeah, like he's the master. Like he's got a style to him that's really really good and stuff like that. But this film,
And this film would be Ghost of Mars. I'll tell you what, I'll get his good stuff off screen so we can focus purely on.
yeah, please don't let the others see it.
Yeah, so Ghost of Mars, Paul. Ice Cube's in it. Love you, Ice.
Yay!
Not a great sign that you're in it though.
Like also, isn't Jason Statham in this as well?
Jason Statham and Natasha Henstridge, I think her name was from Species. Yeah, it's about mining Mars and releasing the evil dead aliens that live there, and it doesn't really know what it is. But I can tell you this much: I've watched enough of it. It's terrible. It is, in fact, poop. Um,
It's weird because there's a book. There's a book which this is based on,
oh
and
God.
yeah, the book's actually it's
Oh,
actually pretty cool. Like it goes into like the whole like society of the Martians and stuff like that, and what happened to them, and that kind of stuff. But like this kind of butchers it.
well, now I feel I did kind of go, oh God, but now I feel bad for the author of that book because if it's a good book, then the movie must have absolutely nothing to do with it, or at the very least, taken some themes and thrown them in a blender with Ice Cube. Again, not picking on you, Ice. You have an acting style, and I'm into it. You've done some great stuff.
As
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. Give me a minute. I'll get back to you on that. No, he has. He
Oh, he probably
has.
done some good TV stuff. I'll say that. And
Hmm.
he was okay in 21 Jump
Jump
Street
Street. Oh yeah, because
as the cop. But this,
As Ice Cube.
yeah.
Swiftly moving on. Poor old Ice. Anybody in the chat there that wants to shout out a guess? I think we've only got like one director or so left before we get on to the actors. Um, Oliver Stone, Paul. Oliver Stone. I've thrown up because, and again, we haven't really talked about him, but he has done some of my favorite movies, like Platoon, all time classic.
Hmm.
JFK,
Yeah.
and he also did Nixon with Anthony Hopkins, classic. Born on the 4th of July. Tom Cruise was great before Oblivion and before Live Die Repeat. Who'd have thunk it?
Hmm.
He's done amazing stuff.
Yeah, he's got a good backlog of body of work, like really good. Like Platoon, JFK, Born on the Fourth of July, like all fantastic kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
so,
So
what happened?
I'll let you give the obvious pick.
So this is a film that I wasn't able to get through because he keeps asking about his brothers constantly to follow him, which you're kind of going after the third time, maybe they're all fucking idiots. It's Alexander.
There you go, folks. Oh God,
That's a bad.
when picking a screenshot to throw up for this, it had to have Colin Farrell's kind of bleach blonde tips in it somewhere. With like even in the picture, you can see everybody chewing the scenery from an acting point of view. Rosario Dawson, one of my favorite people on the planet. Rosario, I think you're amazing. I'm sorry that you were in this. I'm sorry that I'm sorry anybody that was in this was in this. It's a few action scenes stitched together by some of the worst movie making, and some of the weirdest overacting that I can only assume was egged on by the director. It's odd.
Like it's as I said, I couldn't get through it. Like there's a point in time when you just I feel bad that I quit the movie quicker than the people he kept asking him to follow.
Paul, that movie
Like,
quit you. That movie quit you very early on. It left us all. Even those of us, and I am one of those soldiers that stayed all the way to the end.
yeah,
And I can only thank it for the experience I've gained. But like any car crash or flu that you might catch, you can learn something from those experiences too. You're not going to volunteer to go through them again. That's why I haven't seen Alexander for quite a long time. I watched it twice. I saw it in the cinema and then had to watch it in a house with people once going, this is terrible, folks. You're not going to enjoy this. It's absolutely rough. Oh, Colin Farrell's in it, blah, blah, blah. No, no. It doesn't get better. They were all like, maybe it'll get better. Doesn't get better at all.
no,
Um,
it is.
Do you want to give Pun Master Brew a shout out from the chat? He's on it again.
Brew, amazing,
I salute you,
amazing,
brother.
Brew.
He says Alexander not so great for anybody who's not watching the chat. Ah, dude, you're on fire. I'm gonna have to hope that the next pick isn't quite so. Oh, so Alexander gets a poop on his head because I went way overboard with the poop thing. Well, we start with the easiest of the actors. I think it's fair to say, De Niro. From memory, I don't think I put any screenshots together for good De Niro movies because there was just too many. You'd fill the screen. Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino, anything he did with Scorsese, essentially, with the exception of maybe Irishman. You thinking?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
As
Well,
in, it's Scorsese and De Niro have a lot of like a good history and good body of work together. Like, I'm not going to dispute that.
oh god, yeah.
Like, and De Niro does. He's a great kind of like actor in many roles. I thought that he had finished, and then I watched The Intern and was just like, oh no, hasn't really lost it. Just a nice man.
No, he just made some strange choices. And I think it all started with the thing that led to the Little Fockers. What was that thing?
Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents. Maybe it even started with Analyze This when he started trying to do comedy. But I can tell you where it crescendoed for me, and I'll never watch any more that I'm not sure of. It's Dirty Grandpa, folks.
Oh,
If you haven't seen it, don't. But if you didn't know that Robert De Niro, let me say that again. Robert De Niro of Raging Bull, Deer Hunter, Taxi Driver, give me about 20 minutes, I'll list them all. Did a film called Dirty Grandpa, and I hope that poster sells it to you, folks. Yeah. Paul, please take this Poopmeister away.
just look at it. Zac Efron. The second that you see Zac Efron in a film, you should be just like, okay, well, that's going to be a comedy. And then when you have Robert De Niro beside him, you're just like, what the hell? That also has what's her name from Scott Pilgrim and also Parks and Recreation.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah,
Aubrey Plaza, who's very cool, by the way. She does a lot of very interestingly weird movies as well. Definitely can act. Definitely can pull stuff off. If you said to me, you can be in a movie with Robert De Niro, I'd say, yeah. And then if somebody handed me the script and it said Dirty Grandpa, I'd be like, cool, working title. They don't want anybody to know what this film really is. And then I'd have read 2 pages and gone, I don't know if I want to be in a film with Robert De Niro anymore.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, do you want to have a go at some of the other bad De Niro films? Because I feel like we can't move on without giving him his fair run.
There's a like Las Vegas is not the greatest film.
Oh, that was Last Vegas. Is that it?
Las Vegas, yeah. It's
and
Last Vegas or something. It's got Morgan Freeman and Robert De Niro and a few others.
Doing the obligatory "We're Getting Old Now" movie that all old actors that are still going after great bodies work are forced into doing.
Yeah, it's like I think it's Martin, not Martin Sheen. Who's the one?
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas is getting married to a young woman.
Yeah.
They all come out for the bachelor party into Las Vegas. It's all kind of a big hullabaloo kind of thing.
And I think is Alan Arkin in that one, or did Alan Arkin do one of the other bad ones?
I think Alan Arkin's in that one
because he's also great, but he could have made this list multiple times over because Alan Arkin's great, but has also done some ropey stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's one of them. The Intern's not amazing, but it's a diamond compared to those two.
And I gotta say, I didn't watch the Little Fockers thing. I was forced to see some of it once. Holy God, well, what are they at? Again, for whatever reason, Robert De Niro started doing favors for friends, or I think he really wanted to have a comedy career, like do light comedy movies, after having done so many seriously heavy, Taxi Driver, Raging Bulls, that he was like, I think I could be a comedic actor also.
I think it's probably just something interesting for him as well,
Yeah.
So,
Ooh.
anyway, on to the next group. Yeah.
On to the next guy, Bruce Willis. I figured we may as well keep the top end folks going, Paul.
He decided to go for the cream of the crop.
Yeah. So Tell me, what do you think of Bruce Willis and his body of work?
Actiony,
Mm.
a lot of action, a lot of
Well,
good action.
yeah. So throw out a few of your favorite Bruce Willises because like there's a lot of good stuff there.
Oh, Red, the Last Man Standing.
Good calls.
What's up? Yeah. There's one film that I will leave alone, but
Well, there's the Die Hard movies, obviously. Like he was even great in Moonlighting, his TV show before Fame really took him away to superstardom. Like Bruce Willis is cool, but I didn't end up picking just before you go to the one that you know of. I also threw up. He's done since 2015. He has done so many movies that I haven't seen
oh yeah,
because I didn't know some of them existed until I had a look at his IMDb.
yeah.
Cold Light of Day, Acts of Violence, Reprisal, Precious Cargo, Vice, which is a name of another movie, The Prince. Like some of these, even the posters are so badly photoshopped. You're like, what are you doing?
When you threw them up, I thought I did them.
Did you hear he had tax problems or something? Because I didn't. Is Bruce Willis just doing this as a joke now? Is he just taking paychecks? Is it like a hobby to him? Like is acting now something? I may as well keep busy.
It could be that he's just keep you busy, kind of thing. Like as in, or the fact is that the number is just the money is just right, and like he's like because my thing is that he could have also read the scripts and gone, these are actually kind of not good scripts,
Ooh, so
and
he could
then
just have really bad instincts and choice at this stage. You think?
no, what I'm more saying is that the scripts could be good,
Oh,
but the budget and stuff like that that was given to us didn't extend past too much when they kind of hired him in.
that's a fair point.
And then the directors could also be fairly new directors and stuff like that. Like they could be small passion projects in the kind of sense that he was just like the scripts are good.
Well,
You know,
I can't
I'm
pick
trying
on
to
these.
make up.
Have you seen any of these? Have you seen any of
No,
these randomers? So I
no.
like I don't want to be too harsh on them because maybe they're all solid gold. The Look Who's Talking movies were pretty bad. Yeah, at least that was voiceover only. He left John Travolta and Kirstie Alley to take the real heat on that one. Uh, that was a job he could do without even going to act. So it's a good paycheck even back then.
Yeah, there's one film I think that see. There's one film that I think is added. I need to add onto a list of films that he's done that are stinkers. But let's
Go for
continue
it.
on with the one that we have on the list.
Well,
I
actually,
can't remember the name of it.
is it Hudson Hawk by any chance?
That's the one.
Because Hudson Hawk was a close, it was a close second to the one that we're gonna nail him for. But Hudson Hawk, he did that way back when he was super famous, like the first round of super famous. I've never seen all of it. You have watched all the way through. You brave soldier. It was terrible back then, but it had the real sense of, high in the smell of your own farts success. Kind of, I can do anything and make it work, and that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, it's because he directed it and wrote it. I think. Like I think he decided to go for a triple threat, and like it was. I will say that it did give me a piece of information which is very good, which is when you need to time yourself, like two people,
Right?
you can both sing a song. So like because he's a criminal in that movie,
Yeah.
and they're trying to rob something, but his partner's doing something else while he's doing something else, and they sing to kind of sync up their movements of what they have to plan and stuff like that. And it's just like that's a fairly clever. I like that. That's a
That's a
fairly
nice idea.
clever mechanic, kind of thing. It's the only nice mechanic of the entire movie, but it was a pretty
Also,
good one.
I hate to say I can ruin it. I could be your partner in crime and ruin that because years ago I played bass with a band. Bass is part of the rhythm section of a band, so you have to be able to keep time. Yeah, the band didn't keep me in the long run because even if I was singing the song with you, oh no, I can badly play a bass. I can't even play a bass. I can hold the bass up and make it make noise. My timing is not what it needs to be. So if I was singing a song with you, I'd be like, you were meant to hit the button right on Frere Jacques, and I'd be like, what pace do you sing it at? And do you not speed up for the second verse? Yeah, I would be able to ruin just about anything like that. The reason we picked the
Good to
film,
know.
the fifth Die Hard film, Good Day to Die Hard, as his worst, is because Hudson Hawk may have been ego driven and a reach too far. A Good Day to Die Hard is sullying your own legacy needlessly, and obviously kind of either for money or favor for friends. There was no need to do it. There was no benefit to it. And he didn't even look like he was trying, being quite honest.
No, like it feels like after the fourth one he checked out, and then they just paid him more money to try. Then someone got the Die Hard franchise that probably shouldn't have. Like
You
it fell
can
off the
see
back
that
of a
from
truck.
the production companies and the credits, etc. Like,
Like yeah, like it fell off the back of a truck or something like that.
yeah,
And they just gobbled it up and then had the contract with Bruce Willis and that guy that I can never remember his name of.
Jai Courtney.
Jai Courtney. Not see, this is my problem. He's not a bad actor. He just really is not in good stuff. And like,
Yeah,
and it never like you can't show your range and your like good acting when you're in terrible stuff.
it's
And when
true.
you decided to be randomly Bruce Willis's or John McClane's weird, strange, like son,
Well,
like
choice is all like, hey, again, I go back to the would you want to be in a movie with Robert De Niro? Do you want to be in a Die Hard movie that Bruce Willis has signed up to? Yes. Do you want to meet everybody else who's making it? Because one of them's a college kid with a handy cam, and the editing suite they're going to use is a laptop that's in his bedroom. This is not good. You know, I would have probably signed up and maybe walked away after the first day going, you know what, maybe like, nah. I think I'll
Mike,
take the heat. I'll take the trouble. I just don't know if I want to be associated with this.
Mike and Creer can take better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is a stinker. Who is up next? Oh boy. Gary Oldman, Paul. I know you rate Gary Oldman because I like.
Yeah.
What was the film he did a few years ago that nearly topped your list for that year?
Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour. Exactly. Did he get the Oscar for that in the end?
He did, yeah, he did.
There you go.
That was the one. That was the one that I had been waiting for ages to come out.
Yeah.
So
Well, I threw up a couple of kind of very famous movies of his over a span of time, where he famously can play a good, menacing sort of bad person, not always bad guy, but just the evil in the room. So like Leon, he was just
yeah,
incredible in
yeah.
that hallway scene in Leon where he's like,
Or he takes the
yeah,
he takes the pill.
the
Yeah,
the
like
the physical stress that he can put through a camera lens with either rage or just malintent is fantastic. He outdid himself in Fifth Element as well, with a more cheeky side of the same sort of villainy.
yeah, Zorg. Yeah,
That's right.
like
Tinker
Can't
Tailor
remember his
Soldier
full
Spy,
name.
another one. Sorry, go on.
I can't remember his full name. That was my only problem.
Oh gosh, I know he was quite the fantastically hairdoed up arms
Yeah,
dealer in that. Although you know, if you haven't seen Fifth Element, folks, go back and check it out too. Multipass or not, it's not just a bunch of memes and geek nerd sayings. It's actually a really good movie behind it all. They don't really,
yeah,
nobody's really made a whole lot of Fifth Element movies since, as in movies that you'd put in its category of far enough out there and bright enough, but still actually quite good.
he tried.
Camp without ruining itself. Who tried and how far did they fail?
Well, it's the same director.
Luc
I think he
Besson?
did. Yeah, I think he did. He do Leon as well. Um,
Oh, I
no,
think
he
he
might.
did, yeah.
Which is Valeria and the City of a Thousand Worlds. It's like as crazy. It's like as crazy as Fifth Element. But the problem is that with Fifth Element, they use a lot of kind of practical graphics and very little like CGI. Whereas in Valeria, they were all CGI and stuff like that. It was meant to be like one of his kind of big CGI masterpieces, I guess. It's a beautiful looking film.
I've seen it, and yeah, I'm agreeing with you so much that it kind of hurts because I actually think it could have been a really good film. Like it really could have. It didn't miss by that much, but it was off enough to kind of, as you know, when you're tilting a chair back and you don't quite fall.
Yeah,
Like if they just stopped there, but the chair tilted all the way and everything came down.
yeah. So yeah, Gary Oldman has a great body of work, but what's the film you hate most?
Well, I think as far as, and it's not just his performance. RoboCop, the new RoboCop, is maybe one of the worst films I've had to see in a cinema. Like, like it's a big statement, but like I can actually think of worse. To be fair, I can, but it was bad, bad,
It
bad.
hurt you.
It did. Have you actually watched that RoboCop remake?
Yeah, I've watched it all. I've watched it several times.
Do you like the RoboCop remake?
I have no opinion. It's probably worse. Like if I guess it's worse that I don't have an opinion on this in any kind of way. Like I there's a few groups of friends that I will not watch that film with because I know that they hate it. But I am just like I am completely indifferent to it, which is the worst category for anything.
Yeah,
Because I'll watch films that I hate just to hate them again, and I'll watch films that I like, but like in different films will just be put on as some kind of like noise, white noise thing,
we.
you know?
I would find it difficult to sit through it again. Again, I have seen it twice, even though it was once in a cinema and then in two halves on a TV screen. Again, not picking purely on Gary Oldman, and I see a comment in the live chat there saying Gary Oldman can do no wrong. Actually, have a look at his IMDb. Gary Oldman can do quite a bit of wrong. I kind of took it easy with the RoboCop because I'm going to raise the ante and throw up something called The Courier, which is on Netflix, and I'm going to watch. But it looks like it's one of these Bruce Willis movies. But having seen the trailer, oh my gosh, that's why I'm going to watch it. Paul, The Courier, just, yeah, everybody out there, watch the trailer for it, and it will make you want to watch this movie knowing just how bad it's going to be. I did check a review to make sure that it wasn't bad trailer or good movie. Yeah, the universal consensus seems to be that this thing is unbelievably rubbish, and Gary Oldman is hamming the hell out of it with a Russian accent and an eye patch, which actually Russian accent brings us back to Gary Oldman's Air Force One again. His another turn as a villain.
The producer of Darkest Hour, I feel hurt.
Yeah, well, look, maybe it's going to be brilliant. And all the critics in the world are wrong. All the people who've ever watched it and commented on any of the aggregation sites are wrong. And the trailer is completely misleading. It could be, if all those things turn out to be wrong, then maybe maybe it's good. You can see that poster, right?
I can see that poster. It's what got me kind of confused because I was just like,
Yeah.
I was expecting something else. It looks like it's going to be, is it the Driver series, like with Jason Statham and stuff like that?
Oh, Transporter.
Transporter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Movies I
it
love,
looks
by
like
the way. Even the second and third ones, which are just silly over the top. I know. I maintain the first one had a lot of charm. But then they added budget and lost charm. But I'm not going to stand here and defend them. But what I'm going to say is Gary Oldman, great, but he's done some stinkers. He has
yeah.
done some stinkers.
I like Nora came up with a good one, which is tagline should be "Don't shoot the actors." Yep,
Very nice.
that's a
Very
good that's a
nice.
good line. That helmet looks pretty badass, though. I will say that, but
It kind of does.
I I don't know why they've decided. It feels like Gary Oldman's character in that film is going to be like the the character from the bodyguards or the
It,
hitman's bodyguard.
oh,
That weird like I don't know
it,
Eastern European
the,
Soviet bloc dictator person who Gary Oldman played.
yeah, and you know the Hitman's Bodyguard is getting a sequel. By the way, for anybody who doesn't know the Hitman's Bodyguard, also on Netflix, Ryan Reynolds. Obviously, I've seen it because of Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, and his wife or somebody's wife is played by Selma Hayek, and now
Yeah,
it's the
Sam, which is Sam Jackson. That's
oh
his.
it's Samuel L.
It's
Jackson's wife, because now it's
yeah.
going to be the Hitman's Bodyguard's wife. Apparently,
Oh,
is the
okay.
sequel.
Is that on Netflix or is that on Amazon?
The Hitman's Bodyguard. I think Netflix put the money up, so I think they get to keep it forever. I don't know if they'll ever let it go anywhere else. I think it's another six underground.
I think, yeah, because I thought I
Oh,
just
I don't know for sure.
not just really just wondering. But yeah, no, it's an interesting film. That film is actually an interesting film because it's not with Gary Oldman in it. It's like it's an interesting kind of look on films and stuff like that. Um, but it's not one of the stinkers. So
No,
no,
for my money, Hitman's Bodyguard is a great view on mediocrity. Um, oh, Mank is on Netflix. Mank's new out. Haven't seen it yet actually. Looking, I think it came out last weekend, or was released on streaming last weekend. Paul, I want to do one little on live on air bet or challenge.
okay,
If we both watch The Courier, because
okay,
it's from the producer, and that's never a good sign. When they say producer
yeah,
rather than director or writer, they're trying to lend some credence. It's a bad sign. But it is from
hmm
the producer of one of your favorite films. It has
hmm
some unbelievably good acting talent. If we both watch it, and
okay.
on some unknown chance that we are the only two people on the earth that actually think it's really good, can we dedicate 1 hour long episode to describing it and its genius to the world? Can we be the
Well,
evangelist for The Courier?
well, let's do this. Like we can discuss this further. But if you want to do next week a review of the Courier.
Oh God, no! Not unless it's brilliant. Like,
Oh, okay,
yeah, no. I'm saying on the off chance that it turns out to be brilliant and the rest of the world's wrong, then I think we should explain it to them.
okay.
I'm thinking that's a chance. That's a bet I'm willing to take, if you know what I mean.
I'm willing to do that.
The odds are stacked in our favor. Oh, I've released all the images at once. Ah, Patrick, I was doing so well with my clicking. So now I'm gonna pretend you didn't see anything, folks. We have some honorable mentions out there. So Michael Fassbender, I love the guy.
Michael
He's
Fassbender. Yep.
he's a handy dude. He's a lovely Irishman. Nice chap, lovely guy. Everybody I know that knows him thinks he's an absolute legend, and I love him because he's also handy behind the wheel of a car, and he's living my dream, being a Hollywood actor and then spending his time racing cars. Assassin's Creed was bad
Mm,
enough that I didn't watch it, as in I got warned off it by so many people. You have seen it though.
I have. I think I was one of the people that warned you.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's a film that does too much. Um, that's the problem. It tries to shove like 4 games worth of information into one film, which is bad. They should have just focused on like simpler storylines and stuff like that to go with the first film.
Yeah.
So
It's universally not really respected. So, do you want to throw in anybody before we throw up any more images? Do you want to throw in any extras in the honorable mention pile?
well, yeah, it's just 2 in the honorable mentions that I'd like to join. So, my first one is Jeremy Irons, from like Die Hard with a Vengeance and
It's
several
great.
other films. Just kind of tying in the Die Hard kind of element that we've had. He did a film of a game in which I am very very fond of, which is Dungeons and Dragons. He did a film called Dungeons and Dragons where he is the main bad guy, the main villain, and that entire film, like I can remember most films that I've watched. It doesn't matter if they're really bad or anything like that. Like I cannot for the life of me remember that film, and I know I watched it because I watched it in the Greystone Cinema, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Well,
Like, yeah, like
it's
so.
that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. And Jeremy Irons is an absolute legend. He's done some amazing movies. I also a little bit of Jeremy Irons personal trivia. I was leaving the Hugh Lane Gallery one day years ago on a day off. Went in to try and culture myself up with my lovely partner, and we walked out. There's theaters near there, just for anybody who doesn't live in Ireland. Walked out and sitting on the wall, overlooking the kind of garden sort of remembrance area. Is this guy that looked really familiar? So I started walking towards him, going, I think I know that guy. You know the way you'll amble towards something. I'm like, why do I know him? Oh my God, that's Jeremy Irons. He was in a play around the corner, but he just looked like the
Oh,
sweetest dude who was obviously having a chat. I think he was having a smoke. I'm not too sure, but he was chatting to an obvious younger actor, and I wanted to do the kind of walk by close enough to get a hint of the conversation, and it seemed like he was giving the young guy some advice, which is just the coolest, sweetest thing in the
wow.
world. So
That's definitely a Jeremy Irons sounding story. He definitely seems like the kind of like mentor.
yeah, he did stare right at me too, and that's when I looked away, realizing, oh crap, I'm staring at the poor guy, and he must have been like, ah, Jesus, are you gonna come over? And I'm like, no, no. The minute he looked at me like that, I went, how you? Bye now. I'm not gonna be that annoying guy going, you Jeremy Irons? I think you are. Let's talk about nothing because I have no good reason to be talking to you right now.
Yeah, I've kind of come to this whole conclusion that anytime I kind of see a famous person, I just give them a nod, or I might say I really like your body of work, but then I just leave them alone. Don't tend to get photos with them unless they're at conventions or something like that, because then they're stuck there.
Well,
Um,
I almost had the comedian Joe DeRosa come over to me, and it was really embarrassing because he doesn't know me, and he was wondering why the person beside me waved at him because I turned around and went, "My God, Joe DeRosa's over there." And my wife decided to go, who? And kind of go, that guy, oh, hi. And waved at him. So he's like, ah, shit, I think they know me. And then he started walking towards us. And had the look on my face must have been like, no, I know you, but like, no, like, oh, no, oh, no.
we're-
And he kind of went, it was great. So Joe
here's
DeRosa, if I would love to tweet him this clip and go, dude, you seemed really nice because you were so willing to walk over to strangers because they waved at you.
here's a bit of like a little bit of like Paul and Patrick trivia. When we went to see Pat Oswalt in
Patton
town,
Oswalt,
we
yeah.
we nearly picked up the courage to try sneak in until we heard the guy was just like, "Yep, now you can show me your tickets," and we were just like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't seem like they were checking anything,
I
and
know.
also the like protective barrier that was supposed to keep the public away from the private areas of thing was just a curtain. Like
Yeah.
it's fairly easy to penetrate a curtain, mate.
Yeah,
Just walked in by accident.
and like I'm not exactly the world's, most action man. It's not like I'm used to just kicking open doors, but I know how to pull back a curtain and nip through it really quickly. Like it's not secure.
Yeah. So I remember we were looking at the posters, going like, "Oh well, maybe some other comedy show we'll watch," and then we overheard the conversation. We were just like, "Maybe." So just a little trivia thing for us, which goes from us.
Yeah,
It's the
if
boldness.
we'd actually done it, we should have fired up our phones and we'd have stuck it up here, and all of a sudden got a hell of a lot more views.
Yeah.
We probably would have been titled, "Two YouTube weirdos get thrown out of Patton Oswald private
Yeah.
area."
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, Michael Fassbender, not a bad dude. Assassin's Creed, it was meant to be quite a good film. It was meant to be the start of a franchise. Was not good in any kind of way. It's a pity though,
Yeah,
but
and
it's the only
I
pity one I'll give.
I kind of I wanted to throw it on here as in case we had spent some time talking about the motivations for people because sometimes it's money, sometimes it's bad choice, sometimes it's a favor for a friend. I have a funny feeling that Michael Fassbender did this one actually thinking it was going to be good and thinking that he'd be part of a bigger franchise. Like he had a really good experience, I would imagine, with X-Men First Class,
Hmm.
and it
Yeah.
was an exciting reboot of a franchise that didn't go completely wrong. So it was a really really difficult thing to pull off. I don't think he was a big part of its success, except for
Yeah.
his Irish accent on the beach scene. Which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, you're not Irish and you haven't watched that movie. Gone, oh my God, his Killarney accent just showed up again for 2 seconds there.
You should, yeah, just watch the beach scene from First Class, and then watch all of Alexander, and then you'll know. It doesn't. You can't hide it forever.
No.
It just comes out of you.
So
Um,
before your next honorable mention, I'll throw in poor old Anne
hmm,
Hathaway. Anne Hathaway, genuinely, I actually think she has some acting chops. Uh, Again, let's not go into all her great movies. Let's just go straight to the turkey. I watched this film and I regret it. It's a remake of a film that's beloved to me, but beloved by me, and that is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. And this was, as a lot of people now use the phrase, the female remake, which I'm not into the. It's just a remake, and yes, they happen to recast with female leads. It's Rebel Wilson and Anne Hathaway. It's called The Hustle, I think. There's a the in it. Yeah, it's The
hmm.
Hustle, and it's awful. It seems like Anne Hathaway knows it's awful too, so it makes me question how far into it did she get before she's like, Yeah, I better stop trying now because this is a pile of dung, and I want to make sure people know that I don't want to be here.
Yeah, that's a pity when you kind of know that someone's bailed out of it. Like you could be just like, oh,
Mm.
the first half's actually pretty good, and then they're just like, why is it? Is it? Am I watching the same film? It's got broke.
It's gone
Um,
now.
you warned me off this film, which I must go back and watch it just to see how bad it is
I
because
gotta
the
be
way
honest with
that
you.
you
I'm gonna
described
give
it,
you a re-warning. Like, don't. You're not getting that time back, and Anne Hathaway will be slightly besmirched by it. It's probably the wrong use of that word. She'll be slightly tarnished by it for you
hmm,
because it's like it's not
I
good.
have I think I have some time over Christmas to kind of try and avoid things. So yeah, I'll definitely pick it up and I'll tweet about it. It's gonna be
Well,
bad.
anybody else in your honorable mentions list? Anybody else that's come to mind during all this?
My last one is probably which goes from my one is Michael Caine and Jaws: The Revenge, which is just a hilarious like because I did the research yesterday where I just looked up some of these guys and yeah, Michael Caine Jaws: Revenge came up and it was just like I didn't because you love the Jaws franchise. You're a big fan of
Absolutely.
the
Well,
Jaws
and I
franchise.
absolutely love Jaws. Let's be clear. Not so much the franchise.
Okay,
I still have time for the
cool.
franchise out of kind of nostalgia. Jaws is a fantastic movie. I wouldn't push it further than that.
I thought I could trick you
Yeah,
there.
you almost got me to say that
Okay,
Jaws
almost.
3D was mind blowing.
Yeah, I was trying to,
Well,
but yeah. So
like Jaws: The Revenge. My favorite thing about like Michael Caine. Let's be honest. From Harry Brown all the way back to Italian Job or Alfie or like you again, Michael Caine supporting roles and main roles. You can just throw them out there. Massive body of work, huge, and such a high bar for him. Like he has
mhm.
some stinkers, but they're not that many in a proportional sense. My favorite thing I've ever heard about Michael Caine is when somebody asked him what he thought of Jaws: The Revenge, and he turned and said, apparently, allegedly, he turned and said, "I've never seen it, but I really like looking at the house that it paid for."
Yeah,
So that kind of answers that question of why did he do Jaws
yeah,
for
pretty
the
easy.
Revenge?
So very
Question
easy way.
question is why did the shark do it? Surely the shark could have just not showed up for that movie. Um, Yeah, it's truly terrible. By the way, that is one that is worth watching if you haven't seen it out there, folks. It's bad, but it's bad in a you can actually laugh at it while watching it. It's so bad.
Yeah, like that's the trick about some of these films. It's like, is it so bad that you can have a couple of beers with mates and laugh your way through it, or is it so bad that no one's going to enjoy it and everybody's going to think lesser of you for deciding that you should watch it some night?
Yeah, it's kind of like watching Mark Wahlberg through The Happening. I always feel like when I'm watching a movie that's so bad it's good. I feel like I am Mark Wahlberg in The Happening. You know, it's weird. I'm going to throw up year one. I don't think Jack Black is going to go down in history as the greatest actor of all time with 25 Oscars, but I actually think the
Hmm.
guy does Jack Black very well. I would never pick on the guy. I think his breakout was High Fidelity, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he was anything big before that. Jack Black brought a lot of Jack Black to the world, and I'm okay with
Yeah,
that. I like that dude. I like his work. I like his acting. I like his funny chops. I like him. I
yeah,
I couldn't like him enough to get through Harold Ramis, or Harold Ramis, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Egon from the Ghostbusters, who did As Good as It Gets, directed Stripes. This man made a film with Jack Black, and I'm like, excellent. Comedy gold is going to ensue. It's called Year One. Michael Cera's in it. It's about kind of cavemen. It's the most puerile bunch of like adolescent humor you can imagine. Have you actually seen this thing?
no, I haven't. I've refused to watch it.
It is every bit as bad as you think. It is like watching, one of those like lads mags from the 90s, where everything's like, it's like if somebody made a Carry On movie, if anybody remembers those, but added a
Yeah,
really bad modern flair of just um, American Pieism. And I think American Pie is quite a funny movie. Um, but
that's
this
the
isn't.
perfect way to yeah. It's a teen movie kind of like spirit to it, which without it being a teen movie. Because you kind
It's
of excuse those for those sake. You can be like, it's not that great, but at least it's another teen movie. So what am I expecting? Whereas this, it's just like year one seems like a comedy, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, it's just a teen film.
So many good things going for it, but it's basically a bunch of boob and fart jokes. It's pretty awful. Paul, best to last. Battlefield
Yeah.
Earth. John Travolta.
Oh,
John Travolta, we talked about him on the Great Comeback Show a little while ago. He's had like 3 careers in his career. You know, the heights of Saturday Night Fever. You know, he had his Pulp Fiction heights again in the 90s. Like, man, you know, he's done a lot of amazing stuff. Then he went into his doing almost anything crap phase. But nothing for me. Nothing is even close to Battlefield Earth.
yeah. Like the only like yeah, I can't. There's nothing. There's nothing there. It is a terrible film. It is so bad. Like it transcends the whole. Like, it's so bad you shouldn't be able to watch it. But it's gone so past that badness that it's gone back into, like, like here is that phase of place where you can drink with your mates and have a laugh, and then here's where it's bad, and then it just goes here, which is like weirdly back here again. It's so bad.
It's so bad it folds badness back onto itself. It is the
It's
infinite loop, the Morbius strip of badness.
it is the horizon, like the event horizon gravity drive of movies. It folds itself into itself so much that it's hell on earth, and then also becomes funny.
And let's not let John Travolta off the hook too quickly that it's not just a bad movie that he's in, a la Gary Oldman in Robocop. This is a bad movie he's actively in. This isn't Anne Hathaway deciding halfway through, oh my god, I've made a mistake. This isn't Michael Fassbender hoping that, you know, another franchise will be born. This is of his doing. He wanted this.
Yeah,
For religious reasons, I guess is the right way to put it. Like, I don't know, is it part of his kind of wanting to experience the sci-fi of L. Ron Hubbard? I don't really know what motivated him to go in this direction. But it's bad.
it is terrible.
I
It's
don't think we can.
Lawnmower Man
Oh,
mixed in with terrible rest of life, like it's Lawnmower Man with Scientology mixed in, and like some terrible sci-fi like series that you've never heard of, all mixed into one gigantic pot. And just as they thought they may have something going for it, someone just came along, maybe John Travolta, and spat in it, and it just changed it completely.
just to make sure. Well, folks, we've run quite long, so I'm gonna say everybody, anything that we've mentioned that you haven't seen, maybe don't watch it, but give the trailer a go. YouTube's full of trailers for all these movies, and Battlefield Earth is a trailer worth watching. There's no two ways about it. That trailer is worth the price of admission. Just don't watch the actual movie.
Oh, it's got that stupid dark, like low voiced kind of like,
In a world.
that kind of, yeah. It's pretty much got that kind of thing. Oh,
Oh, look, John Travolta has done so many great things as well that it's a compliment wrapped in poop for everybody that's on this list. Because you're only on this list if, in general, you've been doing good works, or at least you had done a lot of good works. I don't know if we'll ever get old Robert De Niro or old John Travolta back, but we'll always have Dirty Grandpa and Battlefield Earth, the finest double feature that's ever existed. So, Paul, I'm going to say thanks everybody for trudging through this with us. It's given you all good ideas of what to avoid, or in some cases, what to hate watch with friends that you really want to wind up. I would like to say, don't watch any of them, just the trailers.
oh, just go for the trailers, and if there are ones you can find funny or something like that, like I guess give Assassin's Creed a go and tell us what you think about it, because it's like a well produced and like it's got a good production value to it. So does RoboCop as well,
Oh
and a
yeah,
couple of other ones have good value, good production values. It's just plot lines are just like acting is not great. Battlefield Earth. suggest it to a bunch of mates, and then fake a phone call and leave. That's what you should do. It's the best prank you should do to a bunch of movie loving friends who don't find the humor in certain bad films. You should just go, oh, do you know what I heard? I heard about Battlefield Earth. We should watch that. It's a John Travolta film.
Yeah.
And if no one goes, isn't that really bad? You should just stick it on, and then 5 minutes in, you should just be like, I gotta leave.
And
I
just
like
in case they turn it off after you leave, say to them, look, if you end up not liking this, there's a film that's nothing like it, and it's got, you know, some of the greatest talents in Hollywood. You know, you've got Angelina Jolie, Val Kilmer, Rosario Dawson, Colin Farrell's in it. Everybody, like, you know, you should check out this little film. Oliver Stone did it. Alexander, yeah, you know. So if Battlefield Earth's not your thing and you decide to change movies, throw the other one on. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Yeah, you would never be allowed back with that group.
Yeah, burn bridges with friends. Why not?
Yeah, that's what this podcast's all about. So, folks, I'd like to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe some comments down below while you're on your way down. The old likes do help. Subscribes are great. Shares are even better. And let us know what you'd like to see in future.
Yep, and don't forget that if we watch the Courier and it's good, you'll be seeing it next week while we talk about how it's good, and the rest of the world is bad, is just terrible revisions.
Yep.
That's
So,
if I get Cyberpunk out of the way.
so chances of that happening almost zero. Paul, I have been
Don't take that
Patrick,
out of context. I've been Paul.
and we've been Heroes Out. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.